Lunchtime in Hong Kong's central business district. Police firing pepper pellets to disperse protesters, bringing traffic in one of the world's busiest thoroughfares to a standstill. Police say this was an illegal assembly as crowds shouted pro-democracy slogans and insults at them. Not everyone is against them though. "I'm from China and I support the police," screams this woman who's from the mainland. The protesters' intended target was Hong Kong's Legislative Assembly, but a heavy security presence prevented their attempts to reach the building. Inside, legislators were debating a bill that would punish those who disrespect the national anthem. This is what supporters of the bill want to stop: the booing that drowned out the March of the Volunteers before a recent football match. Those convicted under the planned law would face a fine of more than $6,500 and up to 3 years in jail. There were many arrests on Wednesday, with at least one as young as 14 years old. Detentions that could now risk university and career prospects. Opponents of this national anthem bill call it another blow to Hong Kong's freedom, and it comes ahead of a move by China's parliament to impose a new national security law on this city. China's rubber-stamp parliament, the National People's Congress, is expected to approve draft legislation on Thursday, when more details of the proposed security law will be known. In the meantime, Hong Kong government officials are trying to ease fears.
It will be conducive to the long-term stability and prosperity of Hong Kong, and also helpful to safeguarding the legitimate rights of Hong Kong people.
Many Hong Kong people aren't reassured, and they now know the risk for daring to demonstrate their opposition. Adrian Brown, Al Jazeera, Hong Kong.
Benedict Rogers is co-founder and chairman of Hong Kong Watch. He says the movement is likely to keep going until protesters get what they believe was promised by the government.
I don't think we're seeing the end of the pro-democracy movement. The movement, I think, is absolutely as determined as ever, particularly to try to not have this security law imposed on them. They're not just going to roll over, but we are certainly seeing the end of Hong Kong's autonomy of one country, two systems and its basic freedoms. I think overall the weight of responsibility lies on Carrie Lam and on the central government in Beijing. They have promises that they should uphold under the terms of the Sino-British Joint Declaration and the Basic Law, Hong Kong's constitution, including a promise, albeit in vaguely worded terms, to introduce universal suffrage at some stage. So the responsibility is theirs, and they have introduced at various times laws and measures that have been extremely repressive and have absolutely provoked the fury of the people. Of course, there have been a small minority, and I emphasize small minority, of protesters who have resorted to violent and extreme action, and I don't condone that action, and I think Hong Kongers are at their best when they protest peacefully, but we should remember that those incidents of violence have mostly been in response to police brutality. It's usually been the police that has acted first, and of course in response to out of frustration at a government that just does not listen to the people.